Hi, it's Margaret, interview coach, and welcome to my first video in the You Are Hired video tutorial series. In this video, I will share with you how recruiters read CVs and what will increase the chances of your CV being considered for a job you're applying for. So let's get started. The first thing to understand is that recruiters do not actually read CVs. This important document you've spent all day or all weekend crafting into a masterpiece will most likely be given a few seconds review before the recruiter considers you for a particular job or to eliminate you from the search. Don't be offended or outraged about this. It's purely a consequence of the recruiter having to process large amounts of CVs every day, often under unrealistic time constraints. So what is actually being done is perhaps better described as scanning, a one glance for key elements within a document that determine whether you are to be called or deleted. As a job seeker, your first task is to pass this CV scan. Here are a few tips on what you've got to do. Be easily contactable. That means mobile and email on the top of the first page. Putting this information anywhere else forces the recruiter to hunt for it within the document, and every additional second he or she spends doing this exercise increases the risk that they will give up and move on to the next CV on their list. You must always make sure that you have both your email and a mobile number clearly visible on your CV before you send it to anyone. You'll be surprised by how many CVs I receive where either email address or mobile number are missing. Tip number 2, be conventional in terms of formatting and design. Unless you are in a creative industry, avoid any kind of unnecessary formatting or design that could be considered gimmicky. Use background that is white or cream, black font, easy to read font type, etc. Also, unless you are a supermodel or applying to a position such as an actor or TV personality that might require a headshot, there is absolutely no need to include your picture, at least in the UK. What you also need to remember is that sending a picture only increases the file size and the download time of your CV. Much the same goes for graphics and endless URL links. Probably my most important tip would be to grab the reader's attention immediately. You might be a multi-talented and multi-dimensional professional, but to pass the CV scan, you need to be easily categorized. If you are looking for different types of jobs, it's a good idea to have several different CVs with different profiles or objectives. As a recruiter, I sometimes get really frustrated, as candidates who apply for my jobs do not seem to have read the job description, as they do not seem to have many or any of the relevant skills whatsoever. So it's very important that you customize your CV. If you're a project manager, for example, the recruiter needs to understand this in 3 seconds of opening your CV. So make it obvious with your headings, the language you use, and skills you list. Creating tailor-made CVs might seem like a lot of work, but if you want your application to stand out in the crowd, it's essential that you target your CV towards its intended audience. Your CV has to grab the reader's attention immediately. If a CV doesn't convey a match within 10 seconds, they move to the next candidate. That's why an effective summary section will help the recruiter identify if you are a viable candidate for the position quicker. When writing your resume or CV, you should always remember that you are trying to convince the employer that you are the best person for the job. In order to do this, your CV is your personal sales letter. Using the proper resume isn't just about the font, the type of paper, the keywords, or which style of CV you need. Your task is to write a good CV, which is a clear, concise, simple to understand document that helps the recruiter to answer the 3 questions: who you are, how you can help them solve their problems, your experience in solving problems like theirs. Instead of an objective that can pigeonhole you focused too narrowly, or an introduction that adds absolutely nothing to your background, for example, I'm a results-oriented team player, or I can work on my own initiative, etc., use a powerful headline instead. Tell them who you are and what you want to do immediately. Come up with one powerful sentence or phrase to grab your reader's attention. Think of this like a headline to a major front-page news story. what is going to grab that reader to want to read further. For example, Senior Marketing Communications Manager with 10 years experience gained in the banking sector. Obviously, this headline will work only if you are applying to work as a marketing manager in the banking sector. It would work against you if you want to work, say, as a partner marketing manager in the technology sector. What I also see as a recruiter, as well as interview coach, is that candidates often leave off very important and critical experience or information that is pertinent to the job they are seeking. No recruiter has the time to spend hours trying to figure out your background. As a job seeker, you must be aware that recruiters spend only about 10 seconds skimming through each CV. This is why it's absolutely vital that if you fulfill the requirements of the position, you grab the reader's attention immediately with these skills and experience. Out of all the CVs I receive every day, always less than 50% are relevant. Sometimes only about 10% of applications match the requirements of the position. I know there are a lot of people out there who've been looking for a job for a long time, and the temptation might be to apply for any job that is vaguely relevant to their background. I really recommend that you send less applications, but that you customize each and every CV that you send out and tailor it to the hot buttons that will catch the employer or recruiter's attention. Identify your employer's needs and convince them that they need you. Keep your CV brief and send it as a Word attachment. Also, keep your CV to 2 or 3 pages, 4 pages at the absolute maximum. Anything over that, and the recruiter will close it down before they even begin to read. The basics that should go into a resume include a number of key points employers are interested in learning more about. They include educational backgrounds, achievements, job experience, and career goals. CVs generally are designed to provide a snapshot of person's qualifications. Unless specifically requested otherwise, your CV should be sent as a Word attachment. A recruiter simply doesn't have the time to download and convert special files. Also, unless you are a graphic designer or a multimedia developer, no recruiter will spend time going to your homepage to download your CV. Even if you are a graphic designer, you still need a Word attachment CV. So if you are an accountant, engineer, etc., do not try to be fancy because no recruiter has the time or desire to call up homepage. Another top reason for avoiding formats other than Word or a plain text file is that it becomes increasingly more difficult to download into many HR and recruiting systems. Often a recruiter will not have a job for you today. If they cannot enter your CV into the recruiting system, they will be unable to match your CV with any positions that do become available. Unless specifically requested otherwise, recruiters are looking for easy-to-open Word attachments. Mention your accomplishments. This is extremely important as many CVs are just too duty-oriented. Your CV needs to describe more than just job responsibilities. A good CV must also detail your accomplishments. Mention the business benefits and results attributable to your direct effort, involvement, or leadership. I would also recommend that you do not separate your skills and accomplishments from each position. Someone should be able to look at it and know what you did at each job and how long you were there for. Make sure to provide specific examples of how the company benefited from your performance. Accomplishments should be quantified in pounds or euros or percentages. For example, I increased productivity of department from what to what? 1%, 10%, 90%? The aim in giving evidence-based descriptions with your work history is to show clearly your value to the hiring agent. The moment his or her eyes hit anything with a percentage mark or a number, it will glue them to your resume to see what else you have done. Okay, let's wrap up this video. I hope you found my How Recruiters Read CVs tips useful. I would appreciate your feedback. Please let me know your comments. My next video is on why you are not getting hired. Bye for now and see you soon.